Hello guys and girls, this is Little Pit What Ifs here, and I'm back at it again with another video that I haven't uploaded in like a long time. This is gonna be what if Deku was turned into Harley Quinn. And let me just tell you straight up, I have two Harley Quinn type of what ifs I'm trying to figure out how to make. I won't do them at the same time period because it would just confuse a lot of people. This is what if Deku turned into Harley Quinn. This will be a straight MHA. What if there won't be any mix up? Oh my bad. There won't be any DC crossovers with this. Well, the other one, this is what if Deku turned into Harley Quinn. This is the straight up MHA, like I said, and this is what if Deku was Harley Quinn. This will be a DCX MHA. So let me tell you how this what if is gonna go. What if Deku turned into Harley Quinn is going to be interesting one, a twisted version of Harley Quinn, very twisted. The the things that happen in MHA are going to be pretty different. Everything that I'm going to start with, whenever the story starts off, is going to be after the war, and Izumi or Deku, whichever you really prefer, is trans, of course, and that's going to mix into this what if a little bit. It's going to have a big impact on how the character develops and all that. It has a big thing in here, and Fem Deku, which I'm just going to call her Fem Deku because she is a woman, always will be a woman, even if she was born a male. So Fem Deku was born 15 years after class 1A, and her parent is going to be Toshinori Yagi, aka All Might, and of course Inko Midoriya. That is going to be Izumi's parents. So yeah, they are going to be born 10 years before. They're going to have a 10-year difference between the before, yeah, 10-year difference between class 1A. That's how it's going to be. 15-year difference between class 1A and Inko and Toshinori, and 15 years between class 1A and Izumi. It might be a little confusing for y'all, but that's how I'm going to do it. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. And the things that I'm going to say is that that the stuff that goes with the story, what I have to tell y'all before it starts is, how should I say, what, 4 minutes into this, I don't think I have anything else to say, but I hope y'all have a good day. I hope you like, subscribe, give me a comment in the comment section, and press that bell icon on the top, I think right on my home screen on my channel. So yeah, it's either left or right. I don't know at the moment. I think it's right. But yep, I hope you like this, and let me start with the intro of this what if. Now we start the story with Himiko Toga. She's badly injured and holding a baby in her arms while holding a few bags as well, as she's huffing and puffing, as she's looking back and forth in the street. At the moment she's in the alleyway about to head out, but she looks both ways to see if there's anyone from the heroes or villains that's trying to catch her. Fuck, why did I do this? Why did I fucking do this? Oh, for one, wanted the kid to die. Why couldn't I do it? Why couldn't I kill this goddamn child? I've killed multiple people before. Why the fuck can I kill a damn child? She looks down at the baby that she's holding in her arms. Yes. She takes a rest as she slides down, leaning on the wall of one of the buildings. She's taking a breath. She has been ducking in and out of alleyways, and at one point she even went into a sewer to try to escape the heroes and the remaining villains that are after her. I'm just happy that All for One was taken care of by that by that Katsuki kid. All for One and Shigaraki got taken care of by him. That's all I am glad about. Fuck. I did not know it was this hard to run while holding a baby. And please don't cry. Please don't cry. As she looks down at the baby, as the baby is still asleep at the moment. As all she hopes is the baby doesn't wake up and start crying. That will alert everyone in the vicinity that she's here. Anyone that's in this area. Like, come on. Why did she have to take the child? Why couldn't she do it? As she looks at the baby's face, as something about the baby just clicked in Toga's mind. Whenever she first saw the baby, whenever she was about to slit the baby's neck peacefully, as she really didn't want to do it, but it was her orders. So she's not one to disregard orders. But once she was about to slit the baby's throat open, she saw the baby's eyes staring at her, with the baby giggling, holding out to Toga's knife, with this baby hands, and it kind of cut itself. As Toga flinched, noticing that the baby cut herself. As the baby looks at its hand, they both see blood trickle down. As Toga would normally be fixated by this, being in love with the blood that's dripping down, but something didn't feel right with the baby. She didn't want this baby to bleed. She don't know why she feels this way. As she looks at the baby's face, as something just tugs in her heart, as she hears someone in her ear, in her communication device, telling her if she has Toga done the job. As Toga looks at the baby again, as she's conflicted right now, as she oh my bad, as she says, as she turns her device on in her ear, as she says, yes, the job is done. As she turns it off, takes a communication device out of her ear, drops it on the floor, and crushes it with her feet. She doesn't know why she's doing this, but she wants the kid herself. She's never wanted to do something like this before. This is something that Toga would not ever do. But she goes with the flow as she takes all the baby bottles and all the stuff that baby would need that is in the shelves right beside the baby. As she does all that, she takes all the stuff, baby food, diapers and all that, puts it in a few bags. She holds it in one arm. She slings it over her back as she carefully holds the baby and she ducks it before anyone notices that she's by the baby. Because at the moment, she is, or at least she was, at the bottom of UA, as we see in the vicinity, we see a few heroes knocked out and some heroes bleeding that was protecting the baby. You see Toga duck it out of UA as we skip an hour later as villains and heroes are after her. As it leads to where we are right now in that alleyway. As she smiles as she says, "You're mine now. I'm gonna be your mama. We're gonna have so much fun. But right now, we need to leave Japan. Yes, we need to leave it while it's in this type of state." As she thinks about where she needs to go, she can't go to the airport because airports are closed because of the war. Her best bet will be the docks. See if there's any cargo ships that's able to leave. By now, there are surely a lot of people trying to leave Japan. She thinks about it and says, okay, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to the docks, see if there's any cargo ships or any ship that would take me. I would have to, yes, that would do. She thinks about a few things as she says, yes, I have to transform into someone more mature, someone that's not a 17-year-old girl, someone that looks to be in their 20s at least. Okay, she'll have to find someone in their 20s, kill them, take their blood, and escape Japan with the baby. As she does exactly that as she runs through alleyways trying to find buildings with some people in it. As after an hour or two, she finds an area with people, survivors from the war. As she says with a very psychotic grin, perfect. As she carefully puts the baby down. As she down No, she doesn't put the baby down. She's still carrying the baby with one hand now while holding a knife. As she says, baby, this is gonna get a little rough. Just stay asleep, baby. Just stay asleep. Thinking about baby. I need to name you. Yes, that's it. I'm gonna name you. I know I'm gonna name you. Baby boy. But it's gonna be an interesting life now. As she runs full speed towards the survivors that haven't noticed Toga yet. As they hear some footsteps coming very fast towards them, as they quickly look towards where Toga is, but it's already too late. The first person that Toga was near, she slit the person's throat without giving him a chance. And the next person, she threw that same knife in the center of the forehead toward one girl. Now the remaining survivor, Toga took another knife that was strapped to her legs, one of her legs, as she guts the person's stomach, seeing the shirt that the survivor was wearing ripped straight up, seeing guts fly out of the stomach, and the person in terror as she says, "Ooh, blood." As Toga and the baby has blood covering them right now. As the baby wakes up and giggles. As Toga looks at the baby and she smiles as she says, "This is gonna be fun. You didn't even cry. You are not an ordinary baby." "Oh, yes, you are my baby boy. Even though you might not be my baby, you are my baby, though." Well, she has a psychotic grin on her face while saying that, as she kisses him on the forehead. As we see Toga collect the one of the girls' blood and sucks it up. Sucks the remaining blood that hasn't came out yet. As we see her transform into one of the women. Finally, as she runs and ducks it out of there before anyone notices what even happened. Before more of the the rest of the group finds those three people. She figured that there will be more. Now we skip to 2 to 3.5 hours later, as she finally made it to the docks, and we see people running into boats, as a man waiting for all the people to board the boats, the two boats that are left, the dog from Japan. as Toga runs toward the docks, as she asks the man, which one leads to what? As the man looks at her as he says, this boat leads to America. Well, the other boat leads to... Where does this boat lead? As he asks one of the people taking care of all the passengers, one of the members of the ship, as the ship member yells out, this one is going towards Paris. As he says, yes, this one goes to America and this one goes to Paris. As Toga says, okay, let's go to Paris. Why won't we? As she walks the boat leading to Paris, as she was the last passenger, as that same man went to the boat going to Paris as well, as he says, all passengers are aboard. Let's get out of this shit show. As we see them leave the docks, both boats, going different ways. Though that won't exactly happen till a lot longer. They won't separate ways until a lot longer, let's say. As now, that is the ending of the intro. Let me bring out my intro, motherfuckers. I hope you liked the beginning of the story. And even though I'm not really wasn't that good of an explanation of what happened, but you'll understand more as the story goes on. I know I didn't understand much. This is mainly Toga's point of view of what happened. There's gonna be different points of view that's gonna happen during this series of what exactly happened today on the ending of the war. So it was pretty jumbly because it is Toga's point of view. So I hope you like it. Let me bring up my intro, motherfuckers. See you in a second.
Sweet dreams are made of screams. Those who lost their minds will disagree. You travel the world on a 70. Everybody's looking for someone, and they found you.
It is 15 years since the last time we saw Izumi and Himiko Toga leave the docks. As we see Toga in a komodo, I think that's what it's called. This little dress right here. A komodo in her home. As she and her daughter Izumi lives in a pretty middle-aged house. Not really middle-aged, but she lives pretty well. She has enough money for them to live pretty well. I'm not going to say she's rich, but I'm not going to say she's poor either. She's has a good amount of money where they can live comfortably for the rest of for the rest of their lives. As she's just waiting for Izumi to make it home from school. As right now they're living in the United States. As they live in a place called Texas. She and Izumi have moved quite a bit during the 15 years since Paris. Because once she moved in Paris, her and Izumi lived there for 6 years. And it was very tough living in Paris for Toga. For Toga, it was quite interesting because she was just a 16-year-old girl trying to raise a child. So she had to do online schooling. She had to learn quite a bit. She had to learn quite a bit of languages as well for her and Izumi to live comfortably. And after a year there, Toga has gotten quite accustomed to living normally. And during that time, she started listening to a lot of music and a lot of beats. And to get money, she started to DJ for different types of people in Paris. As once she started DJing, she started getting quite a bit of money, because like I say, it was pretty tight for her and Izumi. There wasn't that many jobs where she could get because of identification. So after getting quite a bit of money for DJing a lot of places, her and she got fake IDs for her and her daughter in Paris. She found quite a bit of people from the underground in Paris that she thought would not backstab her. But she is still him a go Toga, so she threatened him quite a bit. And during the year of her raising Izumi and taking care of education and all that, her blood loss has went down drastically. Almost scarily so. But she still needed blood. She got quite a good amount of blood off of villains and heroes alike that she didn't like. Though she did not kill any civilians anymore. She mainly dealt with heroes and villains, and sometimes some vigilantes that comes her way. But besides that, it was all pretty good. As her and Izumi grew up pretty well in Paris, and 6 years went by within a flash. As during that time, Toga gotten quite a bit of jobs, different regular jobs because of her fake ID and stuff. Because by then, 6 years, she would be 22 years old, I'm going to say. Yeah, 22 years old, I think. 21 or 22. one of those. As she has gotten quite how should I say? She has gotten quite used to Izumi. Quite love the kid. She loves the kid. She loves her child. As she saw her child grew up within a flash, 6 years old already. As she saw her child grew through a lot of phases within 6 years. The baby phase, the baby knowing phase, as they started growing their teeth, baby teeth. As they grew up, they had a lot of toys. That toy phase. They're still in that toy phase here and there, but on the age of 5, Toga knew that she had to start training her kid, training the kid how to survive a villain attack or a hero attack, because she started getting scared of she was trying to attack her child if they found out that she was Himiko Toga. From the League of Villains, as by now the villain world war, hero and villain war, was pretty well known, and all of the league members were the ones that were left were wanted fugitives. Well, of course, the ones that are dead are not, because they're dead, the surviving ones. So, which is Dobby, which is pretty surprising. Dobby, and who else? Who else? I'm gonna say 2 others as well as him survived. I'm gonna say did Compress survive the war so far? I do not know. I'm gonna say in this world Compress lived with the lizard guy. I forgot his name, but the lizard guy survived as well. Those 3 people lived and are fugitives with Himiko Toga, who suddenly disappeared during the World War. But now we go back to after 6 years of being in Paris, Toga decided that she wanted to learn way more languages and way more cultures. She found cultures to be very fascinating from different places, and she wanted to try new food as well. She thought her daughter might enjoy it as well. So, starting then on, her and her daughter started traveling the world to different places. Spain, different places in America, Mexico. They went to just way more. Let's just say they went to a lot of places, though not every place in the world they haven't been to. They haven't been to every country in the world, but they've been to most. And Toga learned a lot of cultures and different ways to blend in. She found ways to blend into any environment that she and her daughter are in, which leads to the current time in America. As I'm going to say that they're not in Texas, I'm going to say they're actually in yeah, they're still in Texas. They're in the DFW area, Dallas Fort Worth area in Texas. As they're in more of the wealthy area. They're, like I said, Toga is really well off from all the jobs and places she's been to. She's done a lot of odd jobs as well as odd jobs here and there, taking care of some corporations and stuff like that in the underworld. She's pretty much a goon for hire. A gun for hire, let's say, yes. She took care of quite a few places and people that really needed to get taken care of. She made sure that they were people that were corrupted and needed to be taken care of, that were beyond human. As she wants this world to be a little bit of a better place for her daughter. And that includes herself. If her daughter wanted her mother dead, she would kill herself without a second guess. That is how Toga's mentality is. She would literally do anything for her daughter. If her daughter wanted her to kill someone, she would kill them. If she wanted her to save someone, she would do it. As we see the front door open, as Toga has been making dinner for her daughter. As she says, "I'm home." Her daughter has just came home and she says, "I'm home." As Toga says, "Welcome home." As we now see Izumi Toga walking into the home, dropping her backpack from her shoulder, dropping it near the couch, and going into the kitchen area, the dining room area, let's say. As plates are already on the table, as she sits on one side of the table that already has a plate, like her usual seat, as she says, "Wow, Mom, Mexican style dinner tonight?" She says, "Yes, you have. It's your favorite." She says, I know you would make my favorite. Is it chicken enchiladas with the the sour cream sauce with refried beans and rice?" As her mom said, "Yes, it is, sweetie." As we see Yuzumi smile as she says, "Thank you, Mom. Today was pretty difficult." As she breathes in and out, as she sighs, As she says, I have a headache. As we see Toga says, studies, is your teachers giving you too much work? As Izumi says, it's the end of the year. We got SATs. The test going on. As Toga says, oh, okay, yeah. I understand. Don't worry, sweetie. I know you're smart enough. You'll ace every single one of those. As she kisses Izumi on the forehead. As she puts her plate down and goes to the other side of the table and put herself a plate. She goes back in the kitchen and pours 2 drinks. She places 1 drink by Izumi and places 1 by her own plate. As she finally sits down and her and Izumi start conversing while eating. As they pretty much talk about normal stuff and all that. As Toga says, so, daughter, how has your training been since you doing your own thing? Since you didn't need me anymore? As she Tesco saying that. As Izumi just chuckles a little bit as she says, don't worry, Mom. I just wanted some space to do some training alone. I know you love me, Mom, but you need to give me some space. As we see Toga sigh as she says, yes, baby girl, I do love you. I love you to death. Do you know how much trouble, how much of a headache it was whenever some of the kids in your school realized that you were trans and you actually done your last school? Whenever some of the kids realized that you were trans and you've done some of the surgeries, I wanted to kill them right then and there. Once they started harassing you. Izumi, I know you're doing all this training yourself and all that. You want to get some space from me. I got a question though. Why don't you defend yourself? Cause I remember you coming home with bruises all over your body and face because of those damn brats. As we see Toga slam her hand on the table, which leaves a bit of a crack in it. As Izumi just sat there with a blank stare as she says, they're just children. They don't know better. But you know better, Izumi, which means that they should know better. Unless they have bad parents that doesn't teach them shit like this. I can take care of the parents easily. And I know you're still getting picked on, Izumi, even in this school. I know being trans isn't the best, not really the best, the most accepted, let's say. It's okay, Mom. It's okay. As we have Izumi just have a sweet smile on her face, which melts Toga's heart. As we go to Toga. As we see Toga just sigh as he says, "Fine." Now get out your own business. But just know if you need anything, Izumi, I'm here. As Izumi smiles as he says, "Okay, I do need you for something." As Toga looks at her daughter as she asks, "What is it?" "I would love to watch a movie with you tonight." As Toga smiles as he says, "No problem. What movie would you want to watch?" As we skip to the next day, as we see Toga heading to work and saying bye to her daughter Izumi, as we see Izumi walk out the front door and head start walking to school. As the school isn't that far from their home. At best it's like 10 minutes away in walking distance, so it's not that bad. As we see her walk to school, heading to it. As she sees her school, as she sighs. As we skip to her heading to class, as we see her walk towards her seat. As we see someone put their feet right in front of Izumi, and we see her fall on her face. As the whole class are laughing at her, as a person that put the foot out of the trip on Izumi says, "That's what you get, you bitch, for taking Zane away from me. Fucking wannabe woman wannabe. You're not a real girl." Some of the class laughs at that, as we just see Izumi just tisk her tongue and sit in her seat. As the day kind of goes by like this, as no one really bothering Izumi too much, besides the group of girls that is pretty jealous of Izumi. That has been jealous of Izumi since she started the school. And we see the day pass by as we go to lunchtime, as we see her get her food, sit in her seat, as the usual group of girls, and the head girl walks pretty much right behind Izumi, and the front girl pours milk on top of her head, as she says, "Oops, I'm sorry. Oh, we're just taking out the trash. I didn't know you were there." As the girls start laughing at that, as Izumi grits her teeth as she's trying to restrain herself from starting a fight. As we see the girl dump the rest of her tray onto Izumi, as Izumi gets up, turns towards the girl, and she sucker punches her straight in the face, which knocked the girl on her ass. would stun her and her friends quite a bit. Now everyone in the school is watching what's happening. Well, not everyone in school. Everyone in the cafeteria is watching what's happening. As the other girls start rushing Izumi, as she's dodging and waving them, as she hits one of the girls, as one of the girls end up getting behind her and using the tray and hitting her on the back of the head. As that knocks her down and stuns her. As we see the two other girls get up and start kicking her and punching her on the ground. She's trying to defend herself, but she kind of really can't do much on the ground of being surrounded by the girls. As the time passes and they end up the main girl kicking her right in the face, knocking her out, leaving a pool of blood around her as she spits on her face. As she says, "This is not over. After school, you are done." As after the cafeteria, whenever Izumi woke up, it was already after school, as she woke up in the nurse's room, as the nurse has left to do to go to some other teacher's office, as she's pretty alone. As she winces in pain, as she feels herself is patched up. As she gets up from the seat, or should I call it a bed? Yeah, the nurse's bed. As she slowly sees her backpack right beside her. As she takes it and sees a whole lot of other homework that's in it that she missed out on. As she sighs, as she starts walking to the front of the school, as once she starts to walk home, she hears some footsteps and she turns without even realizing she gets knocked out. As by the time that she wakes up, she is being carried by one of the girls. She is listening to these girls' conversation, as she's still hazy, so she's coming in and out of consciousness. She's not fully aware of what's happening, and as the girl that's carrying her is very unsure of what, from what she appears, is very unsure of what they're doing. As she asks the boss, "Are you sure about this? Won't we be murdering this girl if we do that?" As the main girl says, "Who fucking cares about this bitch? She deserves it for stealing all the guys in our school, having them fall in love with her. She's not even a real girl. Fucking slut." As the other girl that's not carrying Izumi is backing the boss up, saying stuff just like what the boss said, while the other girl is still unsure. She's hesitant. As once they stop, as we see them in an abandoned factory that's been not a factory that's closed off, that is closed, as we see them walk into the unknown factory, as we see tanks in a row in the middle of the factory, as there's a lot of scaffolding on the outer side of the inside of the building. As they start climbing it, as we see them finally get to one of the scaffoldings and toss Izumi on one of the railings, waking her fully up. She fully wakes up. She's wondering where she is, scared out of her mind, as she looks at the girls as she asks, what are you doing? Oh, we don't know. Putting you in your place, you whore. As the main girl kicks her in the face, having Izumi spit blood, as she's looking down on the railing now. She's holding onto the railing while looking down, as she sees the tanks full of green acid-like liquid. She sees the steam coming out of them, and she feels the heat, as this place is pretty hot. Her eyes widened, as she immediately gets up and backhands one of the girls, as she starts plummeting one of the girls, while the other girls that haven't been that are just standing there start rushing Izumi, as it's an all-out brawl at the moment, as it's a 3-on-1 right now, as Izumi is holding her own, but slowly she's losing footing, as they start plummeting her to the ground, as you see her all bloody, bruised and bloodied on one of the railings, just leaning on it now, as the main girl, very furious, holds Izumi by the collar, as she says, "You bitch, this is what you get." As Izumi is at this moment can't even talk, but in her eyes she's pleading right now. She is pleading, but all she sees is vicious fury from Negro's eyes, pure wickedness, and extraordinary amounts of hate in the girl's eyes directed at her. She's never seen this in her life. Someone with so much hate towards her. She's used to the usual disgust, but hate, loathing, she doesn't know. As she never thought that someone will go this far to kill her. As right now she gets pushed off the railing, as she is falling, trying anything to try to hold something, but she can't. She starts thinking back on her mom. Honey, see, Mom, I'm sorry. I love you, Mom. I don't want to die. As we see her hit the acid-like liquid, as she starts screaming in pain. Slowly, the screaming turns into hysterical laughter, then turns into nothing. As we see the girls look in triumph as they walk out of the building. As we skip to the Toga home, the Toga family's home. As we see Himiko on her phone, trying to find calling her daughter again, leaving having a voicemail in her ear yet again, as she's very wondering what the fuck's going on. Her daughter has never been this late before. It has been five hours since school has been done, and she's wondering where the fuck is her daughter. She's getting scared now, as she thought she will never need to use this, but she's using her tracker on her daughter, as because of her being so cautious around anyone going near her daughter. She doesn't trust no one near her daughter in case they would take her from her. So very early on, she put a tracker on her daughter. Though she didn't use it because her daughter was very well-mannered and wasn't rebellious. She never had a rebellious phase. So she did this in case of a kidnapping. In case of something bad happening. As she has a sinking feeling that thing is happening right now. As she turned the tracker on her phone, the tracking app, as she's tracking her daughter. It takes a few seconds until it puts a highlight on where her daughter is on a map. As her eyes went wide as she says, "Why the hell is she in the chemical plant?" She stood up and she started running out of her home, as she took some knives with her, as she says, "Oh, I'm gonna kill whoever fucking did this. Whoever is thinking of putting my Izumi in there, I just hope that is Izumi being carried over the chemical plant, though I highly doubt it." As we see her rushing towards the chemical plant. And that is where I'm going to end the episode off right now, on a little cliffhanger. I hope you all liked this episode on what if Deku turned into Harley Quinn. I hope you like, subscribe, give me a comment in the comment section. I know I'm a little bit everywhere in this what if. Wasn't that good at explaining, but it's been a while since I've done a what if. And I tried my best. I did my best. But I hope you don't mind my rambling. But I hope you at least understand my intention with this this part 0. So I hope you all have a good day or night, whatever time it's on is. And peace out, motherfuckers. My monster family.